Alright, so what is the most expensive kind of renewable energy?
Right now, solar.
Solar? So how come?
Well, the technology's been advancing over the past couple of years, but it's still the most manufacturing-intensive way to make power. Wind is close behind, although they've made great strides in the past as well. Geothermal, if you can find it, could be the most expensive if you're drilling very deep. We were involved in a study just recently that where we drilled 2 miles deep, and we spent $1 million, and we did not find enough heat to make energy. So you can spend a lot of money in geothermal just looking for the heat. So if you're in a place like Iceland, where the geothermal layers are very close to the surface, it makes sense to do geothermal. The cheapest, of course, is hydro.
And is hydro effective?
Very effective. There's a lot of ways that you can measure effectiveness in renewable resources. If you look at just the pure energy, the pure energy development side, although they have huge investments up front, you get a lot of economies of scale, which means that you can get a lot of power for the money. Because dams are typically the way that we store energy, and hydro, through the conveyance of the water from the water surface to the hydro, has a lot of potential energy, and because the rivers that run through this region are very big, you get a lot of economies of scale by building hydro, such as Mossy Rock Dam or Mayfield Dam, or some of those that we work with, and extracting that power over a long period of time, hundreds of years in cases. So you really get a lot out of your initial investment.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what is your personal opinion about renewable energy?
I love renewable energy. Renewable energy is a sustainable, the sustainability of it will allow us to power our needs well into the future. There are many different types, of course, and in the Northwest, the hydro is the biggest. Is there anything else you want to know about it?
Not exactly, but I do have another question, and that question is, do you think renewable energy could eventually replace gasoline in cars with solar or wind or other sorts of renewable energy?
Well, wind is a renewable, correct? So
yes.
all the renewable energies have their limitation. Every different type. Wind is an energy that is made when the wind blows, and there's a storage issue, because we have a hard time storing windy days. We have solar power, but it only generates power when the sun shines, correct? Mm-hmm. There's geothermal. It's very expensive to install, but it's a pretty even supply of power, and it's an abundant supply of power when you find it. It's very rare to find in this region. And then, of course, hydro is a very renewable resource, and we have big rivers with lots of elevation change giving us the power we need. Could it replace all the other types of sources? It depends. If we conserve energy over time and we build technologies that use less energy rather than more, if we change our lifestyles to where we're not dependent on fuels such as gasoline, we may get there someday, but we're not close.
Okay, thank you.
3, 2, 1.
My question for you is, what types of renewable energy does Tacoma Power interact or use most often?
Tacoma Power is a hydro utility. However, and by hydro utility, I mean we use 100% hydro as a source for the energy needs of the city of Tacoma. However, we did just build a solar plant, our first one, and it's a community solar, which means that the community as a whole owns the plant. We built it on our warehouse roof. It's located at the intersection of 35th and Union, and it provides about 300 kW worth of power when the sun's shining bright. And so we'll see how that goes, but it's not a very significant amount of power.
So hydroelectric would be the main one that Tacoma uses?
Almost 100% hydro.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you recommend solar panels for residential use?
Over time, yes. Right now, they're very expensive, and without government incentives, most people can't afford to put them on their home. The cost of production of power with solar panels is much higher than we can buy it from sources such as hydroelectricity. Would I recommend it? I would recommend first reducing our use of power by turning off lights, reducing your heating, your heater settings, making sure that you're conserving as much as possible before I would go into another resource like that. But does it make sense over the course of time? Yes. It's a renewable resource, and the technology is becoming, better over time, and they'll become cheaper over time, therefore making it a better alternative.
All right. So do you think in the near future the solar panels, the actual technology of harnessing the sun's power will become good enough that they would actually be a very sensible choice?
I do over time, but it also has to do with market conditions, right? As the cost of power increases, and it is bound to, and as technology improves and the cost of producing those panels comes down, then you're going to have a more of an opportunity to use them. You have a better benefit of using them. So over time, there's a lot of things that we know get better. For example, battery technology in the last 20 years has improved such that we can drive cars with just batteries now. And over the course of time, we'll get better technologies in all of our energy portfolio. Solar being one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.